Hey guys, welcome to the my newest video for today, November 1st. This will be the final part of my 31 days of horror. And I'm also going to include my DVD Blu-ray update. No books to show, and I'm not even going to bother with the my end of the month Doctor Who update, because all I had was a magazine and the DVD of Colony in Space, so it's not even worth it. I'm going to leave the DVD update till last, so I'm going to just start off. I finished October with 75 horror films and television shows watched. 2 of them were TV shows, the rest were films. Though I am very annoyed at myself because I wanted to watch a lot of the blind buys and I ended up only watching one. And it wasn't the one I really wanted to check out, but I watched it. So I'm going to get started. And this is from last Tuesday to last night. So the first one up was one that I rewatched just so I could watch the sequel, and unfortunately I didn't. And that is 2006's, at least I think it's 2006, 2006, 2007, whatever, Adam Green's Hatchet. This is a fucking awesome film. It can be a little stupid at sometimes, but I mean, I like the tagline where it's like, this isn't a remake, this isn't whatever, but basically it's true old school American horror. But I had watched this a couple of months ago and rewatched it to watch the sequel, and I never got around to it, so I literally do suck. But, and to watch Kane Hodder kill people is absolutely awesome. So, there we go, 2006's or 7's Hatchet. Next one up, more suspenseful than gory, came out in 2008, and that is The Strangers. This always, to me, had a very creepy feel to it, and I know some people were disappointed. I think they were expecting a shitload of gore, but sometimes I do like the build-up and build-up and build-up and shit like that. Like, this is good. I don't care what anybody says. So, there we go, 2008's The Strangers. And then another one of the Dark Castle ones, and this is one I always liked, and one that I got to see in the theater. And I think we can all agree, even if you hated the movie, it has a fucking awesome beginning, and that is 2002's Ghost Ship. Please excuse that. I still love that, where it's the ship and then the skull, Sea Evil. I really did like this movie. But yeah, don't really know what else to say. It's got really good cast. Even before Two Towers and stuff like that, you got Carl Urban, long before like Star Trek and stuff like that. You got Gabriel Byrne, who I am a huge fan of. But yeah, this is a great movie, and even if you don't like it, you do have to agree with me. That beginning shot, oh my god, it is just so awesome. I would say this is about probably my second favorite in the Dark Castle series. First one, of course, being House on Haunted Hill. So there we go, 2002's Ghost Ship. And then, a movie that is my 3rd vampire film ever made, and I am so excited for the 4th film coming out in July, and that is 2003's Underworld. I mean, I fucking love this movie. Just to give you an idea, I had the DVD, then the 2-disc special edition DVD, and then I bought this, so I basically rebought this film 3 times. Well, my parents aren't complaining because they get the others. But yeah, a really cool werewolves versus vampires film, and Kate Beckinsale is just extremely hot in this. I mean, her in Leather and Guns, come on. And of course, the scene that everybody loves is her falling from the tower, and it's the way she lands and just stands right back up. It's like, oh, delicious. And it's even to the point that they mocked it, well, not mocked it, but homaged it in the 2nd film, and I think they have a shot like that in the 4th, which I don't care if it's 3D, I'm going to see it. So there we go, 2003's Underworld. And then I followed it up with the 2006 sequel, Underworld Evolution, which was actually more gorier than the first film, but it's a really good sequel. Still hot. But I got to see this in the theater too. Didn't even bother with Rise of the Lycans, which was kind of a mistake because it was actually a good sequel. I love the ending of this because it makes you think, whoa, which way are they going to take it now? Well, we're going to find out in January. And even my dad said, I don't care if it's 3D, I'm going to go see it. Because he loves these movies too. So there we go, 2006's Underworld Evolution. And then going back to the past, a movie that I find scarier than The Omen, and it's in my top 100 favorite films of all time. That's 1976's The Omen. I absolutely refuse to watch the remake. I know some people like the remake, but I'm sorry, I'm not wasting money on it. This one, of course, is directed by Richard Donner, who we know was the god of the 70s and 80s. Of course, with Superman, The Goonies, Lethal Weapon films, Lady Hawk, I mean, come on. But this is his directorial debut. The cast is fantastic. Of course, you got Gregory Peck, who has always been one of my favorite actors. You got David Warner. Another little tidbit for you Doctor Who fanatics on here. The priest, spoilers, but I'm pretty sure some of you have seen it. The priest who gets impaled is Patrick Troughton, who played the second Doctor in Doctor Who, which I thought was kind of neat, that 4 doctors of mine that I like have been in horror films. So this is a really good, it's got a fantastic score by Jerry Goldsmith. This is the only film he won the Oscar for, and I think the guy's been nominated 20-something times. He should have won at least all. Particularly for good thing he won it for this, but particularly for Alien. I mean, come on. But yeah, if you haven't seen this, I so recommend it. It is so creepy, and doesn't rely on gore, and it has some of the best kills, like with no blood, and it's like, well, how did they do that kind of thing? So there we go, 1976 is The Omen. And a movie I think almost everybody here knows I fucking love. I got to see this in the theater, and it really twisted my head. Of course, I'm 16, I'd never seen anything like this. And I know I got Justin into this movie, I think, because I kept talking and bragging about it, and he finally watched it and loved it. That is 1997's Event Horizon. Oh, I went nuts over this movie. Well, mostly because I'm a huge fan of Sam Neill, since seeing him in Hunt for Red October back in 1990. And I love the director's last film. Of course, we all know Paul W.S. Anderson, the director of Mortal Kombat, this, Alien vs. Predator, and 2 of the Resident Evil films. He did this, and I think this is his best film. The visuals are absolutely amazing, because it does have that really... The ship itself looks very gothic, and the horror imagery does not fail. Like, the scene that really twisted my head was the 30-second scene where you find out what happened to the last crew. Like, I've been watching horror films for 9 years at that time. I had never seen anything like that, and that, like, fucked my head up. Because that was, like, the goriest thing I ever seen. And to me, this was extremely disturbing. I found this very disturbing movie. I kind of still do, almost 14 years later. Like, to put it mild, to say what I've said a few times, that 30-second scene of what you see what happened to the last crew, that was more fucked up and disturbing than the whole 90 minutes of Cannibal Holocaust. That's my opinion. Of course, I haven't seen a Serbian film, and I don't know if I will. I don't know if I'd actually have the stomach. But then again, I said that for Cannibal Holocaust, that I wouldn't have the stomach, and I didn't have the patience. I was just so bored. So there we go. If you haven't seen this movie, I so recommend it. It is just fucking awesome. So there we go, 1997's Event Horizon. Next one on the list is one that I think I would have killed to see in the theater, just to have that spooky atmosphere. And that is 2001's Session 9. Because I love these kind of haunted house or asylum movies. And they advertised it at the theater I went to, and not any of the theaters here in Langley or even to Vancouver got it, which really annoyed the shit out of me, because it doesn't rely on gore. It just kind of relies on that build-up. Though it can get boring at sometimes. I will admit that, but the suspense and the way they kind of twist things around just so makes up for it. My favorite scene is when Josh Lucas is in the basement and he keeps hearing things and he turns around and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this silhouette of a guy comes out of nowhere, and they played it perfectly to where this really spooky music came on, and it made me jump. And I just watched this at home with my mom, but it's a really good movie. It has David Caruso has one of the best lines, or the best delivery of a line of all time. I'm not gonna spoil it, but you'll know which line it is. So there we go, 2001 Session 9. Sorry about the shaky cam, because I don't know why my hand is shaking. The film, next up is the film that is my absolute favorite vampire movie of all time, and you don't have to guess what that is. And that's 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula. I just fucking love this movie, mostly because of Gary Oldman's fantastic performance as Dracula. Because, you know, we've had Christopher Lee, we've had Frank Langella, and we've had so many Draculas, but he just nailed it. Well, he's a fantastic actor to begin with. Sorry about the shaky cam, guys. But, I love this. I got to see it back in 1992. I was 12 when this came out. But I absolutely loved it. And I do get a lot of shit for saying that this is my favorite film directed by Francis Ford Coppola. But I've already stated I find the Godfather films so overrated. But that's just me. Because we're all movie fanatics. We agree to disagree. And as some of you know, my list doesn't involve what everybody else likes. Like The Godfather, or 2001, or Taxi Driver, shit like that. But, yeah, if you haven't seen this, I so recommend it. It has a great score. Has great visuals. Not too gory. There's, like, one scene that goes, whoa, in your face. But I think you might know what that scene is. So there we go. 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula. And not overly horrorish, but it has a lot of suspense, and figured I haven't watched this film in years, and figured this would be good to watch. And that's 2000's What Lies Beneath, with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. And it was kind of weird seeing Harrison Ford play the bad guy. I guess he well, you know, he's only been the hero basically his whole bloody career, but it kind of didn't work, because you just don't buy him as the bad guy. But it's a really spooky movie. I love ghost stories, and I love Robert Zemeckis' movies, so there we go. So, and I got to see this in the theater. Not much to say that hasn't been said. But I haven't met that many people who like this movie, which is kind of a bummer, because it is a good thriller. And kind of, like I said, shocking to see Harrison Ford as the bad guy. So there we go, 2000's What Lies Beneath. And I watched this so I could watch the American version, and never got around to it. But I wasn't impressed with this the first time I saw it, but I liked it better the second time. I don't know why. And that is 2008's Swedish vampire movie, Let the Right One In. Because I wanted to watch Let Me In, and I never got around to it, which kind of annoyed me. I don't know why I didn't care for this the first time. Maybe I was just in a bad viewing mood. But I loved these two kids, and I thought they were fantastic together. I particularly loved the pool scene at the end. I'm not saying anything, but it is a fantastic moment. So I know the remake actually got pretty good reviews, but I don't know. So yeah, I've actually read the book, and the book is actually quite good. So there we go, 2008's Let the Right One In. And another film that I rewatched and wanted to watch the sequel, and of course never got around to it, and I was so annoyed. Of course, Jamie and Justin are going to be so happy, and that is 1985's Fright Night. So, what can you say about this film? It's just awesome 80s cheese! And I am one of the people who really enjoyed the remake. Of course, I think every one of you know why I saw the remake. Of course, that is my boy David Tennant playing Roddy McDowell's character, and he was fantastic. And I love Roddy McDowell. He's one of my favorite actors. So I know, like, Jamie absolutely refuses to see the remake, and, you know, as much as I kind of would like her to see the remake, but I know people, like I just said about The Omen, I refuse to watch that, so, whatever. But, honey, if you do get the chance to watch the remake, kind of just go in open-minded. So, and just think, it's a vampire movie where they have fangs and they don't sparkle. So, there we go. Blah, blah, blah. 1985's Fright Night. And I wanted to watch Fright Night Part 2 and I forgot around to it. I suck! And now the ones that I watched on Halloween. The first one I start off with, which is a duh, which I will basically add with some of the other movies I watched as total watchers every Halloween. And that is, I have no idea what year this came out, but I know it was supposed to come out, like, in 2007. So I'll just say 2007's Trick or Treat. Is it the kind of like Creep Show? It's like one of those anthology horror films. And it's got a really good cast. Like, you got Anna Paquin, you got Brian Cox. Got some really cool stuff. And I love this character of Sam. I actually want the toy that I've seen with him. With the little, with his little lollipop that looks like a weapon. But yeah, this is really good. I'm with everybody. I wish they would have released this in the theater, because I think it would have made a shitload of money, because we don't have that many Halloween movies that aren't like the Halloween series, but there we go, 2007's Trick or Treat. And since, unfortunately, I couldn't go see the movie last night, because I didn't have a ride home, and I didn't feel like waiting an hour or so for a bus, and the taxi home would have cost me about $70. And that is 1984's Ghostbusters. Some of you know I'd been so excited to go see this, and then at the last minute I found out I would not have a ride home, which pissed me off to no end. But, you know, I've seen this movie so many times since 1984, which was actually brought to my attention that I watched this so many times and had the DVD, and I told them, yeah, well, I've watched Alien how many times since 1989, and I saw that in the theater. So, actually, if they had, like, a matinee of this, I think it would have been better, instead of a 7 o'clock showing, because by the time it would have gotten out, the 3 buses I would have been able to take would have passed, and I'd be waiting an hour, so I was very annoyed. But, you know, it's a fantastic horror comedy. It's one of the best. Just Tremors beats it just a tiny bit. Sorry, Jamie. But it's a fantastic movie. I don't know what the hell's going on with the third, but I don't think they should do a third. I mean, it's been 20 fucking years since they did it, so why even bother? I mean, I even like the second one. So, there we go, 1984's Ghostbusters. Okay, and now for the only one blind buy that I watched. Actually, I don't know what year this came out, but I think it's I know it's in the 80s. 1983 or 4, I want to guess, but correct me if I'm wrong. And that is Silent Night, Deadly Night. This is the Region 2 Arrow video thing. Because some of you know it's very out of print here, and it costs a lot of money, so I just bought this for like £9. But yeah, I didn't mind it. And it's an uncut version, so you can tell when they put the uncut footage in, because the video goes all grainy. But I actually didn't mind it. I don't know if I'd check out any of the sequels, because they'd probably be equally hard to find. And who's that girl that Justin keeps talking about? Lena Quigley? I thought she was in it for a hell of a lot longer, and her role was basically like a cameo, and I was like, well, that sucked. But overall, 7 out of 10. But like I said, I don't know if I'd check out the sequels, because they would be equally hard to find. So there we go, 1983 or 4, Silent Night, Deadly Night. And basically we're at the final roll, all the films that I always watch on Halloween. And we start off with 1999's Sleepy Hollow, which is my favorite film, directed by Tim Burton. It is a fucking awesome movie. Got to see this in the theater, and it was so much fun. But yeah, this is, like I posted on Facebook and Twitter, it wouldn't be Halloween without this movie, because it is like Trick or Treat. It has such a Halloween feel to it. So, and I can't really say any more that hasn't been said since 1999. So there we go, 1999 Sleepy Hollow. And of course, started the last 8 hours basically with 1978's Halloween. What can you say? I don't have to wait till Halloween to watch this. I can watch this anytime, but this is one of the films I always watch on Halloween. But, you know, nothing much else I can say except that it's an awesome, awesome movie. And it's, like, in my top 5 favorite horror films of all time, and it's number 17 on my top 100 favorite films of all time. So there we go, 1978's Halloween. And then there's sequel Halloween 2. It came out in 1981. And this is actually a pretty damn good sequel. It takes place basically right after Michael Myers is shot. And I kind of, yeah, wish they would have put out more special features, but I'm more happy that they have Terror in the Aisles. Like a trailer would have been nice, yeah. So, yeah, nothing much else to say that hasn't been said about this one. There we go, 1981's Halloween 2. And I don't have 3. I don't know if I'd ever get 3. But this was the next one I watched, 1988's Halloween 4. This is, I think, my 3rd or 4th favorite sequel. I have to redo the list. But it's a really great sequel. And I'm like with everybody else, I love Danielle Harris. I think she's a doll. So what else can you say about this? It hasn't been, like, half of these films, can't say much. So there we go, 1988's Halloween 4. I didn't even bother with 5 or 6. I just went straight to Halloween H2O, which I got to see in the theater, and it was absolutely awesome. Jamie Lee Curtis comes back, as we know. It does have a lot of the Scream feel, but I think because of Scream, that they thought, well, we'll bring this back. And, of course, the 20th anniversary. But it's an awesome, awesome sequel. This is, I think this would be the 3rd favorite. It would go 1, 2, H2O, and 4 is my top favorite sequels. So, and nothing much else to say about that. Oh my god, I suck. So there we go, 1998's Halloween 2. And then, of course, Rob Zombie's 2007 remake. I do like this. I just kind of was like, I don't care why Michael Myers started killing people. Because that's the mystique of it. But hey, if Rob Zombie wanted to do that, let him. He's an awesome guy. But I love this Blu-ray just because of the 4-hour documentary. And I like a lot of the music. Like, you had Don't Fear the Reaper. You had Tom Sawyer by Rush. It's got a great score. And I like the cast. Malcolm McDowell and Scout Taylor Compton, who I agree with Justin is an absolute cutie. But yeah, this is actually a better remake than some of the others. Just doesn't beat Friday the 13th or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So there we go, 2007's Halloween. And I ended the night in the horror movie marathon with 2009's Halloween 2. And I'm not really a big fan of this. Like, I think I only watch it with Rob Zombie's commentary, which makes it a little more bearable. But I kind of do like the fact that he tried to go a different way instead of, like, doing what the original Halloween 2 did, which was after Michael is shot and go to the hospital. But that would have been neat if Rob Zombie would have done that. But I kind of think that it was neat that he went a different route, especially to show how Laurie and Annie have coped or not coped with what's happened to them and all that. But it's okay, it's just not one of my favorites. So there we go, 2009's Halloween 2, and that ended the month-long horror movie marathon at 75. And I was so happy it was over, because I was getting horror movied out 2 weeks into the marathon. So that's all. That's everything. It is done. I can go back to watching normal